An inquest is a court hearing led by a coroner, who's a type of judge, with the aim of answering questions in relation to someone's death. A coroner has a duty to investigate when a person has died in their area, or more technically, when the body is lying in their area. And the coroner has reason to suspect that the death is unnatural, violent, occurred in state detention or custody, or the cause of death is unknown. Unless the coroner becomes satisfied through their investigation that the death was natural, or the previously unknown cause of death is now known, then they need to hold an inquest. What is a natural death can sometimes be a tricky question. If the coroner has reason to suspect that an otherwise natural death would not have occurred but for some culpable human failing, then it becomes unnatural and an inquest is required. This might include, for example, someone who is nil by mouth, who is given toast, chokes, and no efforts are made to help them, or someone who has sepsis who isn't given any antibiotics. The purpose of an inquest is to answer 5 questions as set out in law. Who died, where, when and how they died, and finally, what was the medical cause of death? Those first 3 questions of who, where and when are usually straightforward and can be answered very quickly. The majority of the inquest will focus on how that person came by their death. It is important to note that an inquest is an inquisitorial process and is not about blame. Coroners are expressly prohibited from making findings which seemingly determine civil or criminal liability. It's not a trial, it's an inquest. We don't have parties as you would in other court cases. We have properly interested persons, and this terminology reflects the investigative nature rather than the adversarial nature of an inquest. No one has a case to prove. It is the coroner's inquiry, and not everyone involved in the inquest needs to be made an interested person. People or organisations are made interested persons if the coroner feels that they have sufficient interest in the proceedings to be able to participate.